Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Sleepy Scientist Zone. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to float? Not just in water, not just in air, but in the deep and perfect quiet of the cosmic vacuum. Take a slow breath in and imagine the boundary between Earth and the endless night above it. Picture yourself resting there at the edge of gravity's embrace, where weight seems to let go of you and time itself feels like it relaxes its grip. As you exhale, allow your mind to drift upward as if carried by a soft and invisible tide. Tonight, we begin a journey into one of the gentlest mysteries of the universe, what floating in a vacuum reveals about gravity. This is not a story of equations or loud discoveries, but of silence, softness, and the graceful dance that holds the cosmos together. Let the thought settle within you for a moment. Space is not empty because nothing exists there. Space is empty so other things may move, drift, and reveal the hidden music of the forces that shape all that we see. Imagine you are lying down beneath the night sky. Above you, countless stars shimmer like quiet lanterns suspended in a sea without edges. As you close your eyes, imagine your body becoming lighter, as if gravity itself is loosening its gentle hold, millimeter by millimeter. The earth beneath you seems to thin into a warm glow, and you begin to lift slowly, effortlessly, drifting toward a place where noise fades away and only a deep cosmic calm remains. Floating in a vacuum is not the same as falling, yet in many ways it is. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station are not floating because space lacks gravity. They are floating because they are falling perfectly around Earth, always missing the ground, always drifting forward in a serene circle. Their bodies are suspended between motion and stillness. Their minds are wrapped in a quiet that only the vastness of space can offer. In this soft equilibrium, they discover that weightlessness is not an escape from gravity, but a graceful partnership with it. As you picture yourself rising upward, imagine the thin air around you fading until it disappears entirely. You enter the vacuum of space, where there is no breeze, no sound, no resistance. Your arms do not fall downward. Your breath moves gently within you. The only thing that anchors you is your connection to the earth far below, pulling you with an invisible thread that stretches across the gulf. This thread is gravity, the most familiar yet most mysterious companion of our lives. Take another slow breath. Let your lungs expand like tiny universes, then release the air as though sending a quiet message into the void. In the weightless realm of space, breathing becomes a meditation, a reminder that even the smallest human act continues to hold meaning in the largest possible landscape. Floating in the vacuum is not just an experience of physics, it is an experience of awareness. It teaches us how profoundly gravity shapes our existence, even when we no longer feel its touch. Now imagine drifting further. Below you, the earth curves gently, wrapped in a soft blue glow. Clouds slide across its surface like slow-moving thoughts. The oceans glimmer with moonlight, and the continents rest like ancient stories waiting to be told. Up here, at the edge of the vacuum, everything looks peaceful, almost dreamlike. The world feels delicate, like a glass sphere suspended in darkness. In this stillness, gravity becomes more than a downward force. It becomes a bond, an invisible connection that keeps our planet whole, keeps our moon dancing around us, keeps our bodies rooted even as our imagination floats freely. Have you ever noticed that when you release a tense breath, your thoughts seem to rise, becoming lighter? That same gentle release is what scientists feel when they watch objects drift in microgravity. Tools, droplets of water, or even small seeds float, as though freed from the expectations of the world. Without weight, They move with a softness that is soothing to watch, like tiny planets exploring their own miniature cosmos. And in those moments, researchers learn not just about gravity, but about motion, balance, and the quiet beauty of nature's rule. Take a moment now to picture a single drop of water floating beside you, not falling, not splashing, but drifting like a tiny crystal sphere. In the vacuum, it holds its shape perfectly, round like a miniature world. It moves only when you move, as though it senses your presence. This is what microgravity reveals, that even the simplest things become wondrous when weight no longer pins them to a surface. In this peaceful state, science slows down, observations become meditation, and the universe feels close enough to touch. As you drift, imagine gently stretching out your hand. Nothing pulls it down, nothing pushes it back. In the vacuum, you move with a quiet freedom, guided only by the slightest motion. A soft push sends you gliding forward, like a leaf floating on a silent river. There is no hurry, no noise, no resistance. Just a calm journey through a space where gravity whispers instead of commands. Floating in a vacuum teaches us something profound. Gravity is not an enemy to escape, but a companion that shapes our path. Even here, far above the ground, its presence is subtle yet ever present. It guides your orbit, it shapes your drifting, it reminds you that everything in the universe is connected through gentle, invisible threads. Take one more deep breath, slow and unhurried. Imagine your thoughts dissolving into the quiet around you, like stardust settling in a peaceful room. Let your mind rest in this space where floating becomes a metaphor for letting go, releasing tension, and understanding the universe not with force, but with softness. As this first chapter comes to a close, hold on to the image of yourself drifting calmly in the vast vacuum. Know that throughout this journey we will explore the secrets of gravity with the same gentle pace, the same mindful curiosity, and the same quiet wonder. Each chapter will guide you deeper into the serene and beautiful science of floating, falling, and understanding the invisible forces that cradle our world. For now, breathe out slowly and let your imagination continue drifting. 2. The silent dance of weightlessness. Imagine for a moment that the drifting sensation from our first chapter never ends. You are still floating gently in the quiet embrace of space, where nothing pulls you sharply, where nothing presses against your skin, where every motion feels like a whispered suggestion to the universe. Here, in this silent dance of weightlessness, gravity reveals itself not through heaviness, but through harmony. Take a slow breath and allow that thought to settle over you like a soft blanket. As you continue drifting, picture the earth below, calm, slow, turning with a rhythm so ancient and steady that it feels like the heartbeat of the cosmos. From this peaceful vantage point, you begin to understand something subtle. Weightlessness isn't the absence of gravity at all. It's a perfect balance with it, a gentle truce, a moment in which motion and momentum align so seamlessly that your body can no longer feel the familiar tug downward. And yet, gravity is still there, quietly guiding your path. Let your breath rise and fall as softly as the planet rotates beneath you. Astronauts often describe their first moments in microgravity as surreal, not frightening, not chaotic, but strangely soothing. They say it feels like being suspended in a warm, endless dream. The slightest movement sends them drifting. A small twist of the wrist becomes a slow, graceful rotation. Pushing off a wall propels them across the room in a quiet glide, like a feather caught in a gentle breeze. You too can imagine this. Picture yourself inside a calm space station. The lights are dim, the air hums softly. Around you, Objects float like patient companions. A pen drifts past. A small piece of cloth gently turns in place. Each motion unfolds with the grace of a slow ballet. There is no hurry here, no falling, no weight to pull you down, only direction, only response, only the silent dialogue between your body and the universe that houses it. Take another slow breath and let your shoulders relax a little more. Weightlessness teaches a quiet truth about gravity. We only notice its presence when it resists us, when it presses down on our feet, when it pulls on our muscles, when it anchors us to the ground. But here, in this tranquil vacuum, gravity is not gone. It is simply cooperating rather than contradicting. You and gravity are moving together in the same direction at the same pace. You are falling, yes, but eternally, gracefully, without ever reaching the ground. This is why astronauts float, not because gravity abandons them, but because they are bound to it in a perpetual, peaceful dance. Let that sink in with your next breath. Now imagine turning slowly in place, watching as the sun rises over the edge of the earth. From space, sunrise is not a sudden burst of color, but a slow unfolding. A thin line of blue appears, then gold, then soft white. It spreads gently, illuminating the curve of the planet, like the first hint of awareness in a meditative mind. In weightlessness, this moment becomes even more serene. You drift toward the light, carried not by winds or waves, but by pure momentum. In this calm environment, the human body learns to adapt. Muscles relax, the spine lengthens slightly. Your sense of balance changes without weight pressing down. Every movement becomes intentional. Every gesture feels like poetry written in motion. You no longer walk, you float. You no longer sit, you hover. And with each gentle drift, you begin to appreciate how deeply gravity shapes your daily existence, even when you never consciously notice. Take a moment now to imagine the way your legs feel without weight. They do not tire. They do not need to carry you. Your arms drift softly by your sides. Your head feels light. Your breath moves through you without effort. It is as though the universe is holding you, lifting you, easing the constant pulling sensation you've known your entire life. In weightlessness, the body discovers a new kind of freedom, one that is as calming as it is enlightening. Float a little deeper into that feeling. Scientists study weightlessness, not just to understand the body, but to uncover the hidden behaviors of nature. In microgravity, flames form perfect spheres. Hot air does not rise. Water clings to surfaces like liquid glass. Plants grow in surprising patterns, guided not by up or down, but by the faint pull of light or the internal signals within their cells. Everything becomes gentler, more curious, more expressive. Hue gravity reveals the quiet creativity of the universe, the way it adapts when the familiar rules fade into softness. Picture, if you can, a single flame in space, a tiny sun suspended in darkness. It glows evenly, perfectly round, like a golden pearl. Without gravity pulling hot air upward, the flame burns in a sphere, calm and smooth. It radiates softly in all directions, as though breathing with you in the stillness. Now imagine a floating drop of honey, slow, thick, glowing like amber in the station lights. It holds its shape, suspended like a jewel. If you touch it lightly, it stretches, then relaxes back into a sphere. The world looks different here, not chaotic, not strange, but simply peaceful. Microgravity transforms motion into meditation and physics into poetry. Allow your breath to ebb and flow with that thought. As you drift across the station in your imagination, picture the earth appearing in every window like a painting that follows you. Blue, white, gold and green, suspended in the void. You realize that everything on that world is held together by the same invisible force, allowing you to float so freely here. Gravity binds oceans to their basins, holds the atmosphere in place, guides the moon through its orbit, and shapes the paths of planets around distant stars. It is both whisper and command, gentle and powerful. Even now, as you float weightlessly, gravity is shaping your journey, pulling, guiding, embracing. It never stops. It never disappears. It simply changes expression. This is the quiet lesson weightlessness teaches, that gravity is not only a force, it is a relationship, a connection between you and the universe that never breaks, no matter how high you drift. Take another deep, calming breath. Let it ease into your chest, then release it slowly. In this moment, let yourself feel the serenity of microgravity, the softness of motion, the stillness within. Feel the way your thoughts rise lightly, unburdened by hurry or weight. In the quiet dance of weightlessness, you are part of something larger, something harmonious, something eternally in motion. As this chapter gently draws to a close, allow the vision of drifting weightlessly to remain with you. Hold on to the calm it brings, the slow clarity, the wonder. When you're ready, I'll guide you deeper into the mysteries of gravity in the vacuum, step by gentle step, breath by quiet breath. The vacuum's quiet secrets. Imagine drifting farther now, past the gentle walls of the station, past the soft glow of reflected sunlight, into a place where the vacuum of space becomes your quiet companion. Take a slow, steady breath and let your mind ease into the vastness ahead. Out here, in the deep and endless silence, you begin to understand something profound. The vacuum is not simply an emptiness, it is a canvas upon which the universe paints its deepest truths. Picture yourself gliding just beyond the station, tethered only by a thin line and the comforting sound of your breath inside your suit. Around you, there is no wind, no air, no sound. Space feels like a giant pause, a moment of perfect stillness that stretches out in every direction. And yet, this stillness is alive with meaning. The vacuum is not a cold absence, it is a gentle reminder that the universe allows room for motion, room for orbit, room for the subtle choreography of gravity. Take another breath, feel it expand like a tiny star within you, then fade gently outward. The vacuum teaches us through silence. Without air, nothing vibrates to carry sound. If you tap your suit, the world does not echo. If two stones collide, the universe does not ring with the impact. Even the soft hum you hear is only the machinery inside your helmet, your human made heartbeat in a wide cosmic hush. This silence, this vast quiet, allows gravity's influence to be observed with purity. There is no friction, no resistance, no air dragging objects downward. Everything moves with a clarity that feels almost spiritual. Float a little deeper into that thought. Now imagine releasing a small object from your hand, a tiny bolt, no bigger than a pea. It drifts away from you, not falling, not slowing, not changing its path, unless another force gently nudges it. In this vacuum, motion continues untouched. It is like watching a dream unravel with infinite patience, smooth and unbroken. The bolt glides through the stillness, obeying only the subtle pull of gravity from faraway bodies. You sense that every action here is connected to something larger, a star's mass, a planet's orbit, the gentle tug of Earth far below. Even weightlessness, the drifting freedom you feel, is shaped by this vacuum. Without air, nothing interrupts your fall around the Earth. Without friction, your orbit remains smooth. Without resistance, You and your surroundings share a peaceful harmony. You become part of the quiet mechanics of the cosmos. Take a slow breath, imagining the stillness entering your lungs like cool, starlit air. This vacuum is not hostile, it is serene. It allows stars to burn freely, sending their light across billions of kilometers. It allows galaxies to turn like slow, majestic whirlpools. It allows planets to drift around their suns with the calm reliability of ancient rituals. In the vacuum, gravity writes its laws with elegance, shaping everything without ever needing to be loud or forceful. Think for a moment about light. In this emptiness, it travels effortlessly. No particles scatter it, no clouds distort it. A beam of light from the sun reaches your visor with purity, unbroken since it left the star's surface. It feels gentle yet powerful, a warm touch across the faceplate. Photons, tiny packets of energy, glide through the vacuum with nothing to slow them down. In this way, the universe reveals itself quietly, patiently, faithfully. Take another breath and imagine the sunlight gliding through you, warming your thought. Now consider how objects behave without air's support. On Earth, a feather drifts slowly because air lifts it. A stone falls quickly because air yields to its weight. But here in this vacuum, both feather and stone would glide together, following the same path, falling at the same rate. The vacuum strips away distractions and shows us gravity's pure intentions. Gone are the influences of weather, friction, turbulence, pressure. What remains is gravity alone, drawing everything with equal gentleness. If you release two objects before you, one heavy, one light, they would drift side by side as though sharing a calm and ancient secret. This is why astronauts appear to float beside massive equipment, why droplets behave the same as heavy tools. The vacuum levels the field, allowing gravity to whisper the same instruction to everything. Picture those two objects floating now, rotating slowly, calmly in the vast stillness. Let your breath follow their rhythm, in and out, soft and steady. The vacuum also softens motion. On Earth, if you push something, it quickly slows. Air pushes back, friction resists. But here the universe does not argue. A gentle push sends an object drifting away for hours, even days. It moves with a poetry that belongs only to microgravity, a kind of eternal glide. Every small action becomes meaningful. Every gesture echoes across unconscious distances. Imagine reaching out with a fingertip and brushing the edge of a floating tool. It glides away, spinning slowly, like a planet turning on its axis. It is beautiful in a quiet, understated way. This is mindful science, seeing the universe not as chaos, but as calm design. Take a moment to breathe in that sense of design. The vacuum also reveals something intimate about our bodies. Without air, you cannot feel wind against your skin. Without pressure, your steps would have no solidity. Not that you can step at all here. Every movement must be slow, careful, deliberate. You become more aware of yourself, of each breath, each gesture. This heightened awareness is soothing, almost meditative. Astronauts often report that floating in the vacuum's embrace brings a kind of inner silence, a mindfulness born from the absence of noise. They feel small, but not insignificant. They feel detached, but never alone. The vacuum reminds them that the universe is vast, but also welcoming. Feel that welcome with your next breath. Now imagine turning slowly, letting the panorama of space drift past your visor. Distant stars twinkle like tiny pinpricks in velvet. The Milky Way spills across the sky in a river of silver light. Far off, a faint glow marks the presence of a distant nebula. where new stars are quietly forming. In the vacuum, every light seems sharper, clearer, as though the cosmos is revealing its deepest beauty just for you. And beneath your feet, the earth, blue, glowing, soft, around the edges, clouds swirl in white spirals, oceans shimmer, continents drift by beneath thin veils of mist. You see storms forming, sunlit deserts, sleepy forests. You watch your own world breathe. From the vacuum, Earth looks peaceful, fragile, precious. Take a deep breath, letting that image settle inside you like a calming tide. The vacuum, silent as it is, teaches you about connection. It shows you how gravity binds everything together, how even in the emptiness forces move like invisible threads, weaving the universe into a single tapestry. You drift, but you are never disconnected. You float, but you are never lost. Gravity holds you gently, reminding you that even in the vastness, balance exists. As you rest in this quiet understanding, allow your breath to soften. Feel your thoughts drift like slow-moving stars. Let the calm of the vacuum wrap around you, comforting, quiet, endless. As this chapter settles into stillness, keep this image close, you floating in the perfect calm of space, the vacuum around you, the earth below, and gravity, always there, always guiding, always gentle. When you're ready, I will guide you into chapter Gravity's Invisible Threads. Imagine yourself drifting a little farther from the quiet stillness of the vacuum, yet never leaving its gentle embrace. Take a slow, calming breath and let your thoughts settle like soft dust in a beam of starlight. Around you, space remains silent, deep, and nothing pulls too suddenly. Nothing rushes. Everything unfolds in a patient flow. And within this serenity, something begins to reveal itself, something subtle, ancient, and always present. Gravity's invisible threads. Picture the universe as a vast tapestry, not woven from cloth or fibers, but from relationships, connections, unseen lines stretching between every atom, every planet, every star. These lines are gravity. They bind the cosmos together so delicately that you can float freely in space, yet never drift into true isolation. With each breath, imagine yourself resting within this cosmic web, supported by forces too gentle to feel yet too powerful to escape. Take another breath, letting it rise softly and fall like a leaf drifting in slow motion. Gravity is not loud. It does not crackle like electricity or roar like fire. It is a whisper, a presence. It shapes galaxies without ever shouting. It moves oceans without ever needing to announce itself. From the tiniest grains of cosmic dust to the largest clusters of galaxies stretching across billions of light years, gravity guides their paths with quiet confidence. In this stillness, floating high above the earth, you become aware of its true nature. Gravity is the universe's silent storyteller. As you drift, imagine turning your head toward the earth again. The blue sphere glows softly, wrapped in a halo of thin atmosphere. That halo is held in place by gravity, an invisible embrace that keeps our air, our oceans, our mountains, and every living creature from drifting into the void. When you release a breath back home, gravity guides the molecules downward, helping them blend with the rest of the air. When leaves fall in autumn, when rain drips from the edge of a roof, when your feet touch the ground in the morning, gravity is always there, tender, reliable, consistent. Out here, however, it feels different. You don't stand on it. You drift within it. Take a slow inhale and imagine gravity as a gentle hand beneath you. If you focus just for a moment, you can imagine the path You're tracing around Earth. You are falling around the planet rather than toward it. This idea can feel strange on Earth, where falling is sudden, sharp, something that sends the body downward with certainty. But here, falling becomes a circle, an embrace, a never ending glide. The invisible thread of gravity pulls you gently inward, while your motion carries you forward. You fall without ever landing. You drift without ever drifting away. Picture a single loop of this orbital path, smooth, continuous, effortless. Now visualize that path expanding. The moon orbits Earth in the same way. Earth orbits the sun with the same graceful dance. The sun, too, moves around the center of the Milky Way, guided by gravity's patient pull. Entire galaxies orbit each other in cosmic ballets that have lasted billions of years. And within each one, stars move in serene spirals, tugged gently by the invisible bonds that stretch between them. Everywhere you look, above, below, to the infinite distances, gravity is writing patterns across the void. Take another deep breath, letting it carry that sense of infinite calm into your chest. Even the vacuum you floated through in earlier chapters is shaped by gravity. Light curves around massive stars, bending softly as though space itself responds to the presence of mass. Time slows near planets and speeds up in emptier regions, all because gravity quietly influences the fabric of reality. In this way, gravity becomes more than a downward pull. It becomes a sculptor of existence, a shaper of time, a guide through the cosmos. Now imagine releasing a small glowing bead into the vacuum, not pushing it, just letting it go. It floats gently, suspended in stillness. Yet if you watch closely, you notice something subtle. The bead is not static. It drifts, slowly, imperceptibly, drawn toward Earth, following the same invisible thread that guides it. It may take minutes, hours, or days to see the path clearly, but the pull is always there, soft, patient, unwavering. This is the magic of gravity. It does not hurry. It does not force. It simply guides. Take a moment to let that thought settle into your breathing. Now picture yourself drifting beyond the Earth's shadow. The sun rises again over the horizon, flooding your visor with gentle gold. The warmth spreads through in this glowing tide of sunlight. The invisible threads of gravity feel even more meaningful, like rays connecting everything in the universe, binding each star's light to its journey, each orbit to its path, each drifting object to its companion. As you float, watch as a tiny droplet of water appears before you, drifting from your glove. The droplet trembles lightly, reflecting the sun in soft flashes. Another droplet forms beside it, and slowly, very slowly, they begin drifting toward each other, drawn by a minuscule gravitational pull. Even something so small carries its own thread of gravity, whispering softly across the vacuum. Gravity exists between everything, no matter how small. The droplet moves closer to the other, a gentle touch. Then they merge into a single perfect sphere, shimmering quiet. This tiny moment contains the essence of the cosmos: connection, attraction, harmony. Even in the silence, even in the emptiness, even in the weightlessness, gravity's threads hold everything together. Take a breath. Let this vision of connection flow into your mind like gentle light. You are not separate from this web. Every particle within you contributes to the galaxy's great dance. Every molecule in your body interacts gravitationally, with the earth below, the moon above, the sun warming your thought. You are part of a network older than the oldest star, a relationship that spans the universe from the atoms in your bones to the orbits of distant galaxies. Feel the softness of that truth with your next inhale. And now, as your thoughts drift with your body, imagine stretching out your hand into the emptiness. You cannot feel gravity, yet you know it is there. You cannot see its threads, yet they cradle you. You cannot touch them, yet they guide your every motion with a tenderness stronger than steel. This is the quiet secret of gravity. It does not need to be seen to be trusted. It does not need to be felt to be real. It simply is. The invisible threads that hold planets, stars, galaxies, and human hearts in harmony are always present, always patient, always guiding. As this chapter comes to its gentle close, breathe deeply once more. Feel the weightlessness around you, the calm within you, and the gravity that connects you to everything in existence. Drift peacefully in the embrace of those invisible threads. When you're ready, I will guide you deeper into chapter. The soft curvature of space. Imagine drifting deeper now, farther into the silent ocean of the cosmos, where gravity's invisible threads begin to reveal something even more profound. Take a slow breath, letting the air move gently into your chest and release it with ease. Around you, space stretches in every direction, not flat, not rigid, but quietly curved, like the smooth surface of a great celestial bowl. Tonight, we explore that curvature, the gentle bending of space that shapes the universe like a potter shaping clay. Picture the fabric of space as a calm, midnight blue sheet stretched out beneath you. It is vast, silky, and seemingly endless. But it is not motionless. Wherever there is mass, whether it's a star, a planet, or even your own drifting body, the sheet dips ever so slightly, not dramatically, not abruptly, but with a soft and elegant slope, like a featherweight resting upon a still pond. This dip, this curve is gravity, not a force pulling downward, but a natural shape that encourages movement. Take another slow breath and imagine your body gently gliding along one of these curves. Here, in the quiet vacuum, you can picture space almost as a landscape, smooth hills, shallow valleys, gentle slopes, yet made of something intangible. When Earth bends the space around it, objects move in response. They do not fall because they are pulled downward. They fall because the curvature guides them as though the universe itself were showing them the path to follow. Picture a marble rolling across the surface of a soft, curved cloth. It does not drop through the fabric. It simply follows the natural slope created by something resting in the center. In the same way, you drift around Earth, not because you are being tugged violently, but because you are following the smooth curvature of space that Earth creates. Floating becomes gliding, falling becomes orbiting, gravity becomes the art of moving along a cosmic contour. Take a slow breath and let your thoughts follow that contour like water finding its Patstein. Once described gravity not as a force, but as geometry, the shape of the universe responding to the presence of mass. And in this peaceful setting, you can feel that truth more clearly than ever. Space bends gently beneath you. Time flows just a little differently here, stretching slightly in response to Earth's presence. You are not just floating in a vacuum, you are floating on the surface of a cosmic ocean whose waves you cannot see, but can gently sense. Imagine now the Earth as a luminous orb beneath you, curving the space-time around it like a soft indentation in a blanket. The moon circles that indentation, moving with the grace of a dancer, tracing a familiar pattern. The sun's massive presence creates an even wider, deeper curve, one that cradles the earth itself, guiding it in a long, slow ellipse that takes 12 months to complete. Entire planets drift within these gentle depressions in space, never hurried, never pushed, simply following the soft geometry laid out before them. Take a moment to breathe in this image, the quiet choreography of orbits, the elegant curvature of space. Far away, stars bend the fabric around them with their own subtle shapes. Each star creates a dimple in space-time, and clusters of stars form larger depressions, guiding the flow of nearby galaxies. Even a black hole, the most extreme sculptor of space, bends the fabric so sharply that light itself curves around it, trapped in a swirling dance of pure geometry. And yet, even in such dramatic places, the universe remains patient. Nothing snaps, nothing tears, space bends, stretches, accommodates. It responds with fluid grace, as though it has always known how to cradle the weight of creation. Let your breath loosen in your chest, soft and deep. Now imagine yourself drifting across this curved fabric, gliding along its contours like a leaf following the gentle slope of a quiet stream. You don't feel the curve, just as you don't feel the Earth's rotation beneath your feet. It is subtle, intuitive, effortless. But if you close your eyes, you can imagine the world gently steering your path along its curvature. Feel that sense of guidance with your next breath, in through the nose, out slowly through the mouth. Imagine a small sphere floating beside you, released from your gloved hand. It begins to drift, not in a straight line, but along the slight curve of the spacetime around Earth. It is subtle, but real. The sphere is not being pulled, it is simply following the shape of the universe itself. This is why orbits exist, why planets circle stars, why galaxies swirl in graceful spirals that take hundreds of millions of years to turn. Every motion in the universe is a journey along curved space. Picture now the Milky Way, vast and luminous, its spiral arms bending through the dark like delicate petals in a cosmic flower. The stars within it trace curved paths, shaped by the combined mass of billions of suns. The galaxy rests in an even larger curve created by the invisible presence of dark matter, a mysterious mass that deepens space where no stars shine. Even the motions of entire clusters of galaxies follow deeper, broader curvatures carved into the cosmic landscape. Everything moves along these silent slopes. Take another breath. Imagine these curves extending beyond your sight, stretching for trillions of miles in every direction. But even on the smallest scales, space responds. Your body curves the space around you as well, not enough to guide planets or influence stars, but enough that every particle in your body communicates with every other particle in the universe. Gravity is not selective, it is universal. Even a whisper of mass shapes the cosmos. Take a quiet moment to reflect on that. Your presence bends space however gently. Now imagine the Earth's curve beneath you deepening slightly as you move closer. If you drift farther away, the curve softens. If you approach the moon, you can imagine your path bending toward its smaller, lighter slope. In the vastness of space, these curves overlap, blend, and influence each other, creating a cosmic landscape that guides the motion of everything within it. You are floating on that landscape and then held not by air, not by friction, but by geometry. Let your breath flow gently, matching the slow, unhurried movement of the universe around you. Space does not resist you. It does not hurry you. It simply provides the shape you follow. This is why astronauts can float for hours without ever stopping. This is why satellites glide in smooth arcs for decades. This is why planets circle their stars with ancient reliability. The curvature of space gently guides everything into a cosmic rhythm that feels almost musical. Imagine listening to that rhythm, not through sound but through motion, the slow pull, the quiet drift, the steady orbit. Each movement is a verse in the universe's softest poem. As your body continues to float, imagine the curvature beneath you smoothing out, then deepening again as you cross over invisible lines of gravitational influence. You move not freely, but harmoniously, always following the path the universe lays before you. Feel the calm of that guidance with your next inhale. As we near the close of this chapter, picture once more the soft fabric of space stretching into the distance, curved by planets, shaped by stars, contoured by galaxies. Imagine yourself drifting across it slowly, peacefully, effortless. Know that these curves, these invisible shapes, are the reason you float, the reason you orbit, the reason gravity feels so gentle here. Take one final slow, cleansing breath. Let the calmness of curved space settle around you like a quiet night sky. When you're ready, I will guide you into chapter 6, where we begin unraveling how gravity shapes not just space but time itself. The dance of falling without falling. Imagine once more the quiet vastness above us, a realm where motion is constant, yet almost invisible to the untrained eye. As we drift deeper into tonight's journey, let your breath soften, let your thoughts loosen their grip, and as you settle into the calm, picture yourself suspended in a gentle, endless twilight, floating just beyond Earth's embrace. Here, in this serene expanse, something extraordinary happens. The very idea of falling becomes something different, not a plunge, not a drop, but a kind of cosmic choreography, a dance where every step is weightless and every movement follows the curved geometry of space itself. This is the secret. The universe whispers to anyone patient enough to listen. Objects in orbit aren't free from gravity. They are forever falling, but they fall with such perfect forward motion that they continually miss the earth beneath them. It is the most delicate balancing act in existence, a harmony of motion and attraction that creates the illusion of floating. And tonight, in this soft, quiet moment, you and I will drift alongside that truth. Take a deep breath, long and slow. Feel your chest rise like a spacecraft lifting from its cradle. And as you exhale, imagine releasing any heaviness still lingering in your mind. Up here, heaviness is just a memory. Let's step gently into the heart of this cosmic balancing act. When you watch astronauts gliding through a spacecraft, drifting with ease, every movement as smooth and slow as a feather on still water, you might be tempted to think they are far from gravity's pull. But gravity extends endlessly. It weakens, yes, but it never entirely disappears. Even the International Space Station, moving at breathtaking speed, is firmly under Earth's influence. If it weren't moving forward so quickly, gravity would pull it down in moments. But because of its incredible velocity, the station is always falling, yet always missing the Earth. Imagine running so fast around a hill that with every step the ground curves away beneath your feet, faster and faster, until the world curves down at just the right rate, and you find yourself suspended, never landing, never rising, just moving endlessly, gracefully. That is orbit, a state of falling without ever reaching the ground. This idea reveals something beautiful about the universe. Floating isn't the absence of gravity, it's the presence of perfect motion, its alignment, harmony, a balance between the inward pull of a planet and the outward sweep of momentum. Two forces gently intertwined, like partners in a slow and eternal waltz. Imagine yourself now drifting near a vast blue world, its curvature glowing softly beneath you, each continent painted in calm strokes, white clouds swirling like whispered thought. You're moving with incredible speed, but you feel none of it. There's no wind here, no friction, no sensation of rushing, only calm, only that feeling of soft suspension. And as you float, you begin to understand something deeply soothing. Falling doesn't always mean losing control. Sometimes falling is simply moving in harmony with the world. Sometimes falling is exactly what keeps you afloat. The space around you stretches endlessly in all directions. Stars shimmer like tiny lanterns, guiding your quiet thought. Earth rotates slowly beneath you, offering a new view every moment, as if the planet itself is turning pages in a book written in clouds and oceans. You are drifting, yet steady, moving, yet calm, held by gravity, yet free from its weight. This strange balance, this gentle tension between pull and motion, is one of the great teachers of mindful science. It reminds us that stability is not stillness, it is motion and balance. And like orbiting objects, we too spend our lives searching for that perfect alignment, where the forces that move us inward and the forces that carry us forward create a path that feels effortless. Let your mind glide over that thought as softly as starlight. Now, picture a stone dropped from your hand on earth. It falls straight down, pulled by gravity, simple, direct. But in space, there is no straight down, there is only the curve of motion, the curve of space itself. Everything is falling around everything else. The moon, endlessly circling Earth, Earth itself, falling around the sun falling gracefully around the center of our galaxy, and the galaxy drawn by invisible tides of cosmic gravity. The universe is not a still sculpture. It is a ballet of falling bodies, each step guided by unseen hands. Take another gentle breath in and imagine yourself part of that dance. Feel the soft, imaginary tug of Earth's gravity, the quiet forward drift of motion, the balance between attraction and freedom. Let that sense of harmony settle over you like a warm blanket of starlight. Here, in this moment, let yourself feel the calm that comes when you understand your place in the cosmos, not as something lost or adrift, but as something moving along its own graceful path. As we near the end of this chapter, allow your thoughts to slow. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. Feel the gentle silence around you, and let this truth echo softly in your mind. To float is simply to fall in perfect balance. When you're ready, let your breath guide you toward stillness and prepare gently for the next chapter, where we drift deeper into the architecture of space itself and explore how emptiness shapes motion, gravity, and the delicate sensation of weightlessness. For now, rest in the calm of the cosmic dance, the quiet architecture of emptiness. Take a slow breath in and let it drift out softly, like a faint cloud dissolving in the night sky. With each breath, imagine yourself sinking deeper into a quiet realm, a place where silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of calm. Here, we continue our journey, gently exploring the strange, beautiful architecture of emptiness. Emptiness, the word itself feels hollow, like something missing. But in the universe, emptiness is never just nothing. It is a canvas of invisible structure, a subtle framework where forces, particles, and waves move in delicate harmony. Tonight, we will drift across that canvas and explore why space, the vast vacuum that surrounds us, behaves in ways that shape every star, every planet, every orbit, and every sensation of floating. Imagine holding a handful of air. You can't see it, but you feel its gentle pressure against your skin. Now imagine removing every atom, every particle, every molecule from that space. What remains? A silence deeper than any cave on earth, a stillness that cannot be found in any forest or ocean. This is what we call a vacuum. But even the purest vacuum is not truly empty. It is alive with possibility. Quantum fields hum softly beneath the threshold of perception, creating an ocean of tiny fluctuations, rising and falling like ripples on a cosmic pond. These invisible waves shape everything from the behavior of light to the orbits of planets. Let's float gently into that thought. Take another slow breath and imagine these quantum ripples shimmering beneath space like faint, glowing thread. They are too subtle for our eyes, too swift for our senses, yet their presence guides the universe like a hidden current beneath the surface of a river. In this quiet vastness, objects move freely, without air to slow them down, without friction to resist them. A single push can send a spacecraft drifting for miles. Endlessly, peacefully, motion becomes effortless. Every movement becomes a meditation. Picture yourself now inside a silent capsule drifting in the vacuum. You lift a hand ever so slightly, and your body glides backward with the gentlest motion. No sound, no air, no weight, just a soft glide like a leaf drifting across still water, but without the water. This frictionless environment reveals something profound. In emptiness, motion continues unless something stops it. The cosmos honors momentum the way Earth honors gravity, and so we drift, guided not by weight, but by motion itself. Let your mind rest on that feeling, a motion that never demands energy to continue, a path that stretches effortlessly forward. Now imagine a single ray of light traveling across this vacuum. It moves at a constant speed, untouched by wind or dust. For trillions of miles, it remains unchanged, carrying the memory of a distant star across the vast ocean of nothingness. In this sense, emptiness becomes a bridge, connecting galaxies, carrying the glow of ancient suns to our tiny corner of space. This emptiness shapes gravity too. When space is empty, gravity molds it like soft clay. Massive objects bend the structure of emptiness, curving the paths that planets follow. It is not the pull of an invisible rope, but the shape of space itself, guiding motion. Breathe slowly and picture space as a calm, stretchy fabric beneath you. Massive planets sink into it like smooth stones resting on silk. Smaller objects glide along the curves created by those stones. Everything moves, not because it is being pulled, but because the fabric beneath it is shaped in a way that guides its motion. This is the architecture of emptiness, elegant, silent, and profound. And now imagine yourself drifting over this fabric, feeling the gentle curvature beneath your path. You are no longer just floating, you are gliding through the shape of space. Gravity is not a force gripping you, but a whispered suggestion guiding your motion. A soft hand, not a firm one. Let the thoughts settle like stardust. In this quiet vacuum, weight loses its meaning. Up and down dissolve. Only direction remains. And that direction is shaped not by push or pull, but by the geometry of space itself. This is why astronauts float. This is why planets orbit. This is why galaxies spiral like cosmic whirlpools. The emptiness between all things is not empty at all. It is the womb of motion. Take a moment to breathe deeply again. Feel the stillness within you. Feel how emptiness in your mind creates space for thought, reflection, and calm, just as cosmic emptiness creates space for motion, gravity, and light. Emptiness is not nothingness. It is possible. As this chapter draws to a close, imagine yourself drifting peacefully through a vast, star-filled corridor of space, silent, serene, guided by the invisible curves beneath you, every motion effortless, every thought gentle and unhurried. Let that stillness embrace you. When you're ready, we will continue our journey. In the next chapter, we'll drift deeper into how the vacuum shapes our understanding of gravity, and how this silent, unseen structure turns floating into a cosmic language spoken across the universe. For now, breathe in and rest in the gentle architecture of emptiness. Gravity's whisper. In the void, take a slow breath in and hold it for a gentle moment. Then release it softly, like starlight fading into the dark horizon of space. Let the pace of your breath settle you into stillness as we drift into the next part of our journey, into the quiet heart of gravity's presence, in the vacuum, here, in the vast openness where you float. There is no wind, no sound, no touch, and yet something invisible is always guiding you, shaping your motion, whispering to your path. That whisper is gravity, not the heavy downward pull you feel on Earth, not the force that tugs you toward the ground as you walk, jump, or simply stand. Out here, gravity picks something softer, gentler, more like a melody than a command, a curvature instead of a pull, a suggestion instead of a demand. Imagine, for a moment, drifting alone through the quiet sea of space. There is no sensation of falling, no sense of direction. Up and down have dissolved completely. Yet if a planet or a star lies nearby, you will slowly begin to move. Not because something grabs you, but because the space around you has been shaped, curved, molded by gravity's silent presence. Breathe deeply and imagine the void around you as a soft, flexible fabric. A massive object, a planet, a star, rests on this fabric, creating a gentle indentation. If you place a marble on the fabric, it doesn't roll because the planet pulls, it moves because the fabric slopes inward, guiding the marble along its curves. In the same quiet way, gravity doesn't push or pull you in space. It shapes the emptiness you drift through. Picture that now, a planet beneath you, not tugging but gently curving the fabric you are floating on. You slide down the curve slowly, peacefully, not falling, not racing, merely following the path of least resistance, a path written into the geometry around you. Let your breath flow softly as you imagine this floating in a world without friction, where the only thing guiding your motion is the shape of space itself. It's calming, it's subtle, it's like drifting along a cosmic river where the water is invisible and the current is carved by gravity. If you were to push off a spacecraft in this vacuum, you would drift forward indefinitely, unless gravity shaped your path toward a moon, or a planet, or a hidden mass drifting silently nearby. The vacuum is wide open, but gravity whispers across unimaginable distances, touching everything with the faintest of hands. This whispering nature is why galaxies form spirals, why planets glide around stars, why the moon dances around Earth. Every motion you see through a telescope is a story written by gravity's quiet influence on emptiness. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Let it smooth out, like ripples settling on a still pond. With each inhale, Imagine the fabric of space stretching softly around you. With each exhale, imagine the gentle curves of gravity guiding your drifting motion. The more deeply we listen to gravity's whisper, the more we understand that floating is not an escape from gravity, it is a collaboration with it. In the vacuum, gravity teaches patience. It teaches subtlety. It teaches that motion can be guided without force, and that existence itself can be gentle. Let's explore that gentleness. Imagine standing on Earth. Gravity is strong, firm, ever present. It defines your sense of down. It grounds you. But out here, in space, the same force becomes delicate, stretched thin by distance. Instead of pressing you into the ground, it guides your direction. Instead of creating weight, it shapes your path. It becomes more like a soft echo than a loud voice. Picture Earth from above, a glowing sphere of blues, whites, and greens, suspended in darkness. Its gravity reaches out into space, but it weakens with each mile, not abruptly, but gradually, smoothly, like the fade of a familiar melody. Even thousands miles away, the tune can still be heard, but only if you listen carefully. Astronauts floating inside the International Space Station are not free of gravity. They are falling around Earth, following the curvature of space shaped by our planet's mass, falling forever, missing the Earth every second, existing in a state where gravity and motion are in perfect partnership. You can imagine this now, a slow, weightless fall that never truly lands, a fall so balanced that it feels like floating. Take another breath, deep, slow, steady. Let the air rise through you like a wave lifting a drifting boat. Then exhale and imagine letting your body sink gently into the quiet of space. Feel the calm of a world where gravity is a whisper. Feel the serenity of a universe that moves in graceful curves rather than sharp pulls. The vacuum is not empty. It is a stage where forces perform the subtlest dances. Gravity choreographs the steps, guiding planets in elliptical orbits, steering comets on long journeys, shaping the way galaxies twist and swirl. Now imagine yourself floating near a distant star, not close enough to feel its heat, but close enough to sense the gentle curvature of space surrounding it. You drift forward, and your path slowly bends, not sharply, not suddenly, just a gentle arc through the vastness. It's like gliding on an invisible slope carved into the vacuum. This arc is gravity's gesture, its quiet invitation. Let the imagery settle in your mind like a soft feather falling through still air. Let your thoughts drift with the same gentle curve. Imagine how every object in the universe, from the smallest dust grain to the largest star, moves along these curves, following the invisible contours carved into space. This is gravity's truest form, not a force that pulls, but a shape that guides. Take another slow breath. Feel the calm entering with the air. Feel the tension fading with the exhale. In the vacuum, tension has no weight. Worries have no direction. Everything simply floats. Everything simply moves in gentle harmony. As this chapter comes to a close, let yourself imagine drifting in the quietest place imaginable, surrounded by stars, guided by curves in a fabric you cannot see but can almost sense. You are held not by hands, but by the shape of the cosmos. You are floating not because you are free of gravity, but because you are aligned with its whisper. Rest in that alignment, and when you're ready, we'll continue into the next chapter, where we explore how floating changes our perception, not only of space, but of ourselves. The gentle shift in how we feel ourselves. Take a soft, unhurried breath. Let it fill you slowly, and release it like a quiet sigh, dissolving into the as your breath settles into its natural rhythm. Imagine yourself floating once more in the silent cradle of space, the vacuum stretching around you like an endless velvety ocean. Here, something begins to change. Not just what you see, but how you feel yourself. Tonight, in this chapter, we drift into one of the most intimate mysteries of floating, the way weightlessness reshapes our sense of being, the way the absence of gravity's familiar pull gently rewrites our inner map, our balance, our orientation, our awareness of where our body begins and ends. Let yourself imagine this slow transformation. You close your eyes inside the spacecraft. There is no pressure beneath your feet, no sensation anchoring your spine. Your arms drift freely at your sides, suspended as though held not by muscles, but by the stillness around you. Your sense of up and down quietly dissolves until those ideas feel like faded memories. Here, in this gentle drifting world, you begin to sense yourself differently. On Earth, your body is always in conversation with gravity. Every moment, every movement, every tiny shift is accompanied by subtle messages. Weight pressing into the floor, tension in your legs as you stand, the familiar downward pull that tells you who you are in relation to the ground. But in space, gravity's conversation softens to a whisper, then fades into silence. Take another slow breath and imagine that silence unfolding inside you. With no weight pressing you downward, your inner senses adapt. The fluids in your body rise, drifting toward your head. Your balance system, the tiny organs in your inner ears, begin searching for a down that no longer exists. At first, the body is confused. We evolved under the constant pull of gravity, our bones shaped by it, our muscles trained by it, our brain calibrated to it, like a compass tuned to magnetic north. When that pull disappears, it feels as if the compass has lost its needle, and yet, slowly, patiently, your body finds a new way of sensing, and that is where the beauty begins. Imagine floating near a window in the spacecraft. You push gently with a fingertip, and your entire body glides across the cabin. No effort, no resistance. You stretch out a hand, grazing a wall with just the softest touch, and your direction changes like a leaf drifting on water. You feel light, not just physically, but emotionally, as though the weight of worry has been shed alongside the weight of your body. In this moment, floating becomes a metaphor and a sensation. Take a breath in and imagine that breath lifting you. Take a breath out and feel yourself settling into the calm of weightlessness. Your sense of self begins to expand outward. Without the ground beneath you, your body no longer feels anchored to one point. You become aware of your fingertips drifting, of your toes no longer tied to a floor, of your spine floating effortlessly straight. In space, your posture aligns naturally, not forced by muscle, but set free by the lack of pressure. Even astronauts describe this sense of self as dreamlike. Their bodies feel elongated, open, drifting in a soft equilibrium. Some say they feel tall. Some feel as if their limbs belong to a new, lighter version of themselves. Some feel as though they are everywhere and nowhere at once, gently suspended in a world where their physical boundaries dissolve into the surrounding quiet. Allow yourself to imagine that sensation wrapped around you like a warm, invisible blanket of calm. Now picture your thoughts in this environment. When there is no up or down, the mind becomes less rigid. Patterns loosen. Worries that once felt heavy begin to lose their anchor. Without weight, even emotions feel softer. The mind drifts into a more meditative rhythm, slow, spacious, open. This is why astronauts often describe a profound sense of peace during their time in orbit, a clarity born from floating. And so, floating becomes not just a physical experience, but an emotional release. Take another slow breath. Imagine exhaling anything you no longer need. In this gentle world, everything unwanted simply drifts away. Now imagine how your sense of movement changes. On Earth, walking is a series of controlled falls. Running is a dance with gravity. Even standing upright is a negotiation between your muscles and the planet's pull. But in space, movement becomes a delicate art. You no longer push against the ground. You push against the air, the walls, subtle points of contact. Every gesture must be gentle, or you'll drift too fast. Over time, this teaches a new kind of mindfulness. You become aware of every motion, every extension of your arm, every curl of your toes. You begin to move slowly, with intention, effortlessly graceful. Floating teaches patience. Floating teaches awareness. Floating teaches presence. Let this idea rest softly in your thoughts. In microgravity, every action becomes a meditation. Now, imagine waking from sleep in space. You open your eyes and realize your body has slowly rotated overnight. You are not lying on a bed. You are simply suspended, drifting in whatever orientation your last movement carried you into. You might awaken facing the ceiling, or the floor, or sideways. But these directions mean nothing to your senses now. You simply exist, floating in a quiet cocoon of stillness. This experience shifts something deep within you. It loosens your attachment to physical orientation. It softens the boundaries between yourself and your environment. It opens your awareness gently, like petals unfurling in morning light. Take another calm breath. Let that openness fill your imagination. In this weightless state, even your heartbeat sounds different within your ears. The blood flows more freely, your muscles relax more deeply. The absence of tension feels like a release, a letting go of something you never knew you were holding. Floating teaches you about yourself in ways gravity never could. It shows you how deeply your identity is tied to sensation, and how flexible, how adaptable, how beautifully resilient you are when that sensation shifts. It shows you that your body can find new balance in unfamiliar conditions, and it shows you that your mind, too, can drift into a gentler rhythm once freed from the downward pull. As we drift toward the end of this chapter, let your breath slow, let your thoughts soften, let your inner world become spacious and open, like the vacuum that surrounds our imaginary spacecraft. Feel your shoulders loosen, feel your jaw unclench, feel the quiet of this moment settle around you like a peaceful cosmic mist. In the next chapter, we will continue exploring how microgravity shapes not only our sense of self, but the world around us, the behavior of liquids, the rhythm of fire, the motion of objects in a place where weight no longer defines their path. For now, let yourself float gently in the space within your mind, where calmness drifts freely and gravity's whisper fades into serene silence. The strange behavior of the world. When weight disappears, take a deep, unhurried breath. Let it expand softly in your chest, and as you exhale, imagine yourself drifting even deeper into the quiet sanctuary of space. Here in this weightless world, a simple truth begins to reveal itself. When gravity loosens its hold, everything, absolutely everything, behaves in ways that seem magical, surreal, almost dreamlike. In this chapter, let us float through the strange poetic transformations that unfold when weight disappears. Let us observe how matter itself changes its rhythm, how objects, liquids, and even fire reshape their identities in the soft cradle of microgravity. Settle into stillness, feel your breath slow, and imagine yourself surrounded by a collection of simple objects: a droplet of water, a candle flame, a small handheld tool, drifting peacefully within the silent cabin of a spacecraft. Here, even the familiar feels new. Start with water. On Earth, water falls. It flows, it splashes, it seeks the lowest point. Gravity gives it direction, purpose, motion. But in space, water becomes something different, something alive with its own quiet intention. Imagine releasing a tiny drop of water from your fingertip. Instead of falling, it floats. Instead of spreading, it gathers itself inward, forming a perfect sphere, as if it wishes to become a miniature planet. Surface tension takes over, pulling the molecules into the smallest shape nature can offer. The water floats before you, a shimmering orb, reflecting the glow of distant sunlight. Take a gentle breath and picture that orb drifting in front of you. You reach out, lightly touching it with the tip of your finger. The orb splits into smaller pearls that dance through the air, like tiny worlds, each following its own slow, graceful path. Water, freed from gravity, becomes a slow ballet of floating spheres, each movement gentle, each interaction delicate. Now imagine sipping that water. Astronauts must drink it through sealed bags, drawing it inward with care, because droplets don't fall into their mouths. They hover, waiting, suspended in the air, like soft jewels. Even drinking becomes a meditation. And now, imagine fire on Earth, a flame breeze because hot air moves upward, pulled by buoyant forces. A candle burns with a teardrop shaped flame, narrow at the bottom, tall at the top. But in space, fire becomes something otherworldly. Picture lighting a small flame in microgravity. Instead of stretching upward, it forms a glowing sphere, a soft, round bubble of light. The flame burns blue and steady, not dancing or flickering. It is quiet, contained, almost shy. Because there is no up or down, the flame expands evenly in every direction, creating a gentle halo of heat. Take a slow breath and imagine this luminous sphere floating before you, a softly glowing sun in miniature. It does not roar or leap or twist. It simply exists, calm, balanced, meditative, a flame without direction, a fire freed from gravity's. Now drift your attention to something simple, a tool, perhaps a small wrench or pen. You let it go, and it hangs in the air as if supported by invisible hands. It does not drop to the floor. It does not rest on a table. It becomes a quiet companion, drifting gently beside you. In this world, objects no longer need support. They float in perfect equilibrium, waiting patiently until you reach out and give them purpose. Every movement you make sends them drifting, slow and peaceful, across the cabin. You push yourself off a wall, and the tool follows your wake like a leaf carried by a soft current. Take a breath in and imagine this delicate choreography around you, objects gliding with no resistance, forming a silent constellation of everyday items made strange by weightlessness. Even simple tasks become poetic. A towel, released from your hand, drifts open like a flower blooming in slow motion. A spoon floats beside you like a tiny spacecraft. A strand of hair rises, fanning out in all directions, crowned by microgravity's gentle touch. And yet, with all this beauty comes an unexpected truth. Without gravity, chaos and calm sit side by side. If you open a bag too quickly, its contents scatter into a drifting cloud. A single droplet of juice, disturbed, becomes a starburst of floating spheres. A tiny crumb, released from its container, becomes a traveler wandering freely through the cabin. Everything must be done slowly, mindfully, with intention. Take a slow breath now and imagine moving through this environment. You extend a hand toward a floating object, careful not to reach too quickly, because even the smallest push can send it spinning away. Here, patience is not just helpful, it is essential. This world of soft drifting teaches you a new language of motion, a language where every action is gentle, where every gesture is thoughtful, where calmness becomes a practical necessity. Even your tears behave differently. On Earth they fall, in space they gather. If you're in microgravity, tears cling to your skin, forming shimmering beads that refuse to fall until you brush them away. Emotions themselves take on a new physical shape. Let your breath settle and imagine floating through this strange, quiet realm. Every object a travel, every droplet a planet, every flame a star. The spacecraft itself becomes a small galaxy where the rules of Earth have softened, transformed into something slower, gentler, more mindful. In microgravity, the universe feels like a dream, one where motion is soft, where matter dances in slow spirals, and where everything familiar reveals a hidden side of itself. These changes remind us that gravity is not just a force, it is an artist, sculpting the behavior of everything we touch. Without it, even the simplest things become extraordinary. As we drift toward the end of this chapter, take a deep breath in. Let the images of floating droplets, spherical flames, and drifting tools settle in your mind. Let their gentle rhythm lull your thoughts into stillness. And when you exhale, imagine releasing the weight of your day, letting it drift away like a small object set free in the vacuum of space. In the next chapter, we'll explore how floating affects time, memory, and our perception of motion, how the absence of weight changes not only the world around us, but the way we feel the passing of moments. For now, let your thoughts float softly, like tiny worlds suspended in the cosmic calm. The gentle pull of the unseen. Let us drift once more into the quiet dark, where space stretches out like an endless ocean of velvet and time itself seems to breathe slowly. As you settle in, allow your thoughts to soften. Let the noise of the world fade, like ripples calming on a midnight lake. Tonight, we continue our slow journey into the heart of gravity's mystery, not with hurried steps, but with the serene glide of a leaf carried by a silent breeze. Imagine you are floating again, suspended in the deep vacuum. No up, no down, no just the tender awareness of your own presence, drifting gently in an infinite sea. In this stillness, you notice something peculiar. Despite the silence, despite the emptiness, you are not alone. There is a faint pull, delicate and patient, an invisible conversation happening between you and everything else. Planets, stars, distant galaxies, even the smallest grains of dust. This is gravity, but not as a force that pushes or pulls in the way we often imagine. Instead, picture it as a soft reshaping of the cosmic landscape. Space itself curves subtly, like a sheet bowed under the weight of a single raindrop. And within that curve you drift naturally, following the gentlest path, carved into the fabric of the universe. Take a slow breath, and let this image settle inside you. Gravity is not a command, it is a suggestion, a quiet invitation offered by every object with mass, from the earth beneath your feet to the stars twinkling millions of light years away. As you float in that vast silence, imagine that you can see these curves of space, delicate slopes and valleys, shimmering like the surface of a still pond touched by moonlight. Every planet makes a dip, every star makes a deeper one. Even your own body creates the faintest ripple, and in this shimmering web, everything dances, gently guided by the shape of the cosmos. Let your breath fall into a slow rhythm as you imagine something simple yet beautiful. You are shaping the universe around you, not dramatically, not visibly, but subtly, the way a warm presence changes the mood of a quiet room. You bend space, you influence time, you are part of the same physics that govern galaxies and collapsing stars. And in return, the universe shapes you. There is something comforting in that, isn't there? Something deeply soothing in the idea that we are not separate from the cosmos, that the same graceful rules that guide the planets also cradle us as we walk, breathe, and dream, that every atom inside us is participating in a cosmic ballet, older than life itself. Let your mind drift gently toward a simple thought. Gravity is the most patient storyteller in the universe. Over billions of years, it gathers dust into planets, shapes clouds into stars, sculpts galaxies into spirals and clusters. It never hurries, it never falters, it simply whispers to matter, offering it a path to follow, and matter listens, not out of force, but because the universe is made to move in harmony with the shape of space. Take another slow breath, feel the pause, allow your awareness to settle into the idea of waiting, the kind of waiting gravity understands. Now imagine the early universe, moments after its birth. Nothing was still. Particles darted like sparks lifted by a roaring fire. And then, as the universe expanded and cooled, gravity began its gentle work. No rush, no urgency, just the slightest tug between particles drifting in the dark. These tiny gatherings grew over millions of years, like dew forming on the edge of dawn, and from these soft beginnings came everything: stars, planets, oceans, mountains, and eventually you. A universe built, not through violence alone, but through patient accumulation, through subtle curves in space, through the quiet pull of the unseen. As you float in the vacuum of your imagination, think of how profound it is that gravity rakes across such vast distances. It never stops. It never fades to zero. Even the most distant star exerts a whisper of influence on your body, and you, in turn, whisper back. There is a kind of cosmic intimacy in that, a connection so subtle you never feel it, yet so constant that it defines the shape of your entire existence. Gravity holds galaxies together, yet allows stars to drift apart. It anchors planets to the warmth of their suns. It lets comets wander for lonely centuries. It shapes the path of every falling leaf on Earth. It also determines the fate of the universe on the largest scales. Let your breath fall softly as you hold that duality in your mind, the small and the vast, the delicate and the monumental, intertwined through the simple fact that mass curves space. The more we learn about gravity, the more mysterious it becomes. Einstein taught us that gravity is geometry, not force. Modern physics suggests it may be connected to quantum entanglement or hidden dimensions. And still, every day, we feel its presence without thinking. It grounds us literally and metaphorically. It reminds us that we belong somewhere, that we are held gently by the world beneath our feet. Now return to your drifting self in space. Feel the absence of weight, the freedom of motion, and yet sense the soft tug of Earth. Even from far away, the familiar pull of home. Gravity doesn't bind us in chains. It guides us in arcs, ellipses, spirals, beautiful, predictable paths through the cosmos. And in those paths, we find harmony, we find order, we find belonging. Before we drift onward to the next chapter, take one final slow breath. Feel your body, light and free, suspended between worlds. Let the mystery of gravity settle into your thoughts like dust settling on a quiet windowsill. And as the chapter closes, know that the cosmos is still whispering and you are listening. The quiet conversation between mass and motion. Picture yourself once more in that endless ocean of deep black, where stars shimmer like distant lanterns floating on a cosmic river. Let your breath soften as you settle into this luminous quiet, each inhale a gentle rising, each exhale a slow sinking into stillness. In this calm, the universe begins to reveal its subtle rhythms. You've floated through gravity's tender curves and felt the silent architecture of space itself. Now let us drift deeper into an idea both simple and profound, the way mass and motion speak to each other across the cosmos. Not through sound, not through pressure or force as we feel on Earth, but through an elegant, wordless conversation woven into the fabric of reality. As you breathe slowly, imagine a lone planet drifting through the dark. It moves not because it is pushed, but because space around it curves, guiding its path like a gently sloping valley guides a wandering stream. The planet listens to the contours of space-time, and space-time reshapes itself in the presence of the planet. A perfect loop, a quiet dialogue older than light itself. Take a moment here. Feel how comforting it is to imagine the universe in conversation with itself. Now widen the scene. Imagine an entire solar system, stars glowing at the center, planets gliding like serene dancers around a bonfire. Each orbit is not an act of being pulled, but of following the natural lines drawn into space by the stars present. The motion of each world is a reply, a graceful movement shaped by that central mass. This is the dance of mass and motion, predictable yet poetic, mathematical yet deeply soothing. Let a slow breath slip out of your chest. Let the image set. Gravity may shape the path, but motion gives it meaning. Motion is the universe's way of expressing freedom, balance, and continuity. Without motion, gravity would be a silent sculpture. With motion, gravity becomes choreography. Now imagine yourself drifting closer to a star, not too close, just enough to feel its warmth as a soft golden glow. The star doesn't pull you with hands or ropes. Instead, space itself curves gently around it, whispering pathways for your body to follow. You float along those paths effortlessly, held not by force, but by the shape of the cosmos. This is motion defined by geometry. This is the universe inviting you to glide. As you breathe gently, imagine the star growing heavier. More mass means deeper curves in space, like a sphere sinking into a thick sheet. Suddenly, everything around it responds. The planets shift slightly, the comets adjust their arcs, even the distant dust and gas listen. Mass speaks, and motion answers. Now imagine the opposite, a star shedding mass in a brilliant outburst, releasing luminous gas into space. As its mass decreases, those space-time curves soften, flattening ever so slightly. The planets drift outward by the smallest amounts, following new paths drawn beneath them. A new choreography begins. This tender interplay continues everywhere, all the time. Tiny particles, colossal stars, swirling galaxies, all shaping space and being shaped in return. Pause here. Let your thoughts drift like dust motes in a beam of sunlight. Think of Earth beneath you. The mass of our planet curves space just enough to anchor oceans, keep mountains grounded, hold our feet to the soil. But Earth is also moving, spinning, orbiting, drifting through the galaxy. Its motion is a reply to the sun's mass, and the sun's motion is a reply to the galaxy's vast curve. Everything is responding to something else. Everything is listening. As you float in your imagination, imagine now the subtlety of this conversation. Gravity is incredibly weak compared to other forces. It can't bend atoms or shape molecules, yet across distances so vast that our minds struggle to imagine them. Gravity becomes the quiet master of cosmic structure. Even galaxies, those magnificent spirals and ellipses, form from this soft conversation. Their stars move in great, graceful sweeps, not because they are pushed or pulled in a human sense, but because the galaxy's mass sculpts a grand basin in the fabric of space. Each star flows along that basin, creating the beautiful patterns we see in the night sky. Let your breath deep. Imagine your body drifting among those spirals, weightless, serene, part of their motion. And now consider this. If motion suddenly stopped, if planets paused, if stars froze, if galaxies halted, the universe would fall inward on itself, collapsing into silence. Motion is not an accident, it's a necessity. The universe remains open, balanced, and stable because everything keeps moving. Mass shapes space. Motion honors that shape. Together they create harmony. Feel that harmony echo within your own body. Your heart pulses not in stillness, but in motion. Your breath is a rhythm, your cells a dance. Even the atoms inside you vibrate with restless energy, speaking the same language as planets and stars. You are, in a very real sense, part of this cosmic conversation. Take another slow breath. Let yourself feel small, but gently small in the way a brushstroke is small compared to the painting, yet essential to its meaning. As this chapter draws to a close, imagine yourself drifting among the stars, listening to the soft dialogue between mass and motion. It is a conversation you've always been part of, even without knowing, a conversation that shapes galaxies, worlds, and you. Let the quiet wash over you, like a warm tide rising around your drifting, and know that the universe continues its gentle whispers, inviting you to follow into the next chapter. The soft curves of space-time. Let us drift again into the quiet depth of the cosmos, where every thought floats freely and every breath feels like a gentle ripple across an endless sea. Settle your mind, loosen the weight of the day, and let yourself glide into the soft mystery that surrounds you. Here in this vastness, the universe begins to reveal one of its most poetic truths: the way space-time curves, stretches, and reshapes itself around everything that exists. Imagine space-time not as a rigid stage, but as a supple ferric, smooth, elastic, and responsive. With every inhale, picture that ferric expanding slightly around you, and with every exhale, watch it relax into stillness. In this quiet visualization, you begin to sense how the universe truly behaves. Wherever there is mass, space-time bends. Wherever there is energy, space-time twists. Wherever something exists, space-time listens. And now imagine yourself floating beside a massive planet suspended in the dark. The planet does not shout or force its influence. Instead, it leans gently into the ferric of space, creating a graceful indentation. This curve extends outward like the soft slope of a hill, and if you release yourself into it, you begin to drift, not because you are pushed, but because you are following the natural shape beneath you. This is gravity through Einstein's eye, not a force pulling you in, but a shape guiding you forward. Feel your breath slow. Let your awareness deepen. As you drift closer to the planet, imagine that you could see the invisible contours of space-time, like delicate waves in a silk blanket, gently folding around you. They guide your movement effortlessly, almost lovingly. You are not falling. You are sliding along the universe's own handwriting. Every celestial body creates its own signature. A star forms deep wells in space-time. A black hole creates nearly bottomless curves. A small pebble on an asteroid creates the faintest ripple. And you, drifting in your quiet serenity, create one too. You are part of the geometry of existence. Now, let your breath soften as we widen the scene. Imagine millions of stars arranged in a spiral galaxy, each bending the fabric around it. Their combined curves weave together into a grand, swirling structure, a cosmic whirlpool of starlight. Yet even this majestic shape is not fixed. It changes, evolves, stretches outward as the galaxy ages. Space-time is alive with motion, alive with shape, alive with the interplay between mass and geometry. As you float through this imagined galaxy, feel how natural it would be to glide along its curves, moving not through force but through invitation. Everything you see, the arcs of stars, the drifting nebulae, the sweeping arms of the spiral, exist because gravity sculpts space-time like an endless cosmic artwork. Take a slow breath and imagine touching that artwork with your fingertip. Feel the gentle slopes, the subtle dips, the unseen valleys. Feel how the universe guides your path without ever raising its voice. Now picture a more extreme example. A neutron star, a tiny dense remnant of a collapsed sun. Though only the size of a small city, its mass might exceed that of our entire sun. It presses so heavily into space-time that the fabric dips sharply, like a stone sinking into deep water. If you drift near it, your path curves dramatically, following its steep gravitational well. Yet even here, in this place of extreme physics, the movement is smooth, continuous, elegant. No jerkiness, no violence, just the geometry of reality, guiding every trajectory with perfect precision. Let your mind rest on that thought. The universe is gentle even when it is powerful. Now breathe in slowly. Let a feeling of awe settle into you like soft starlight landing on your skin. Einstein once said that people think gravity is mysterious, but the true mystery is our understanding of space and time. He saw them not as separate threads, but as a single woven fabric, space-time that bends, twists, and stretches in ways that shape our lives without us ever noticing. Every moment you spend on Earth, you are standing in one of those gentle curves. Every step you take follows a path shaped long before you were born. Every orbit of our planet around the sun is a silent statement made by space-time itself. Now imagine Earth's own curve, small compared to stars but just strong enough to anchor oceans, to shape weather, to cradle life. Without this gentle dip in space-time, we would drift endlessly into the cold, dark, unanchored, and alone. Instead, the Earth holds us softly, and we move with it, always following the quiet geometry beneath our feet. As you float in this contemplation, let a warm sense of connection fill you. You are not just a visitor in the universe. You are part of its shape. Your existence bends space-time ever so slightly. You leave an imprint on reality that will exist as long as mass and geometry continue their eternal dance. Feel that truth settle into your breath. Let it become a calming hum inside you. And now, as this chapter draws to a tranquil close, imagine yourself drifting through space-time's gentle curves, supported, guided, and at peace. The universe holds you not with force, but with form, not with pressure, but with shape. And in that shape, you are always moving, always embraced, always part of the cosmic flow. When you're ready, we will drift onward to the next chapter, where the mysteries deepen and the quiet wisdom of the cosmos continues to unfold. The weightless symphony of falling. Settle your mind once more into the gentle hush of the cosmos. Let your breath stretch out like a soft thread, weaving calm through your body. With each inhale, imagine yourself rising slightly, as if buoyed by starlight. With each exhale, feel yourself drifting deeper into stillness. Here, in this quiet space between moments, we return to the soft mystery of floating in a vacuum, the serene illusion of weightlessness that has captivated every explorer who has ever left Earth. Tonight, we explore an idea so simple, yet so transformative. Weightlessness is not the absence of gravity, it is the art of falling. Take a slow breath. Let that thought rest lightly in your mind. Weightlessness, the dreamy drifting, the gentle gliding, the slow, graceful movements of astronauts aboard the International Space Station, exists not because gravity is gone, but because everything is falling together. You, the spacecraft, the air inside it, the pen floating by your shoulder, all falling in unison around Earth, following the beautiful curve of space-time. Imagine standing at the top of a very tall tower with nothing beneath your feet. If you stepped off, you would fall. But if the tower were tall enough, impossibly tall, and if you stepped with just the right horizontal speed, you would miss the ground over and over again. You would fall and fall and fall, but you would never collide with the earth. That continuous missing, that infinite falling, is orbit, and orbit feels like floating. Let your breath soften. Let the edges of your thoughts loosen. Now imagine yourself hovering inside a space station. There is no up, no down, just the gentle cradle of motion, carrying you around Earth at thousands of kilometers per hour. Everything around you floats because everything is sharing the same fall. It's like being inside a magical elevator that's always dropping, except the floor never rushes up to meet you. Einstein had a beautiful way of describing this experience. He imagined a person falling off a roof, and in that brief moment, the person would feel weightless. Their suitcase would float beside them. A dropped object wouldn't fall because they are both falling together. This simple thought led him to one of the greatest insights in physics. Gravity and acceleration are indistinguishable. Take another slow breath. Let this truth ripple softly through you. When astronauts float inside the station, they are not free from gravity. In fact, Earth's gravity at that altitude is still about 90% of what it is on the ground. The gentle drifting you see, the slow spins, the delicate ballet of bodies and tools comes not from escaping gravity, but from surrendering completely to it. To float is to fall with grace. Now imagine yourself stepping into that fall. Outside the station's window, Earth rotates below you, a living watercolor of oceans, deserts, forests, and clouds swirling in slow, majestic spirals. The curvature of the planet arches gently beneath you, its blues and greens glowing softly against the darkness. As you drift, imagine watching a droplet of water escape from a pouch and hover near your face. It shimmers perfectly round, reflecting the station's lights like a tiny floating universe. You reach out with one finger, and the droplet stretches toward you, clinging delicately before breaking into smaller globes that drift away like tiny planets in a miniature solar system. The droplet is falling with you. The station is falling with you. Even the breath you exhale drifts gently because it too is participating in this weightless symphony. Let your breath deepen, slow and calm. Now visualize Earth's gravity well, the great curve of space-time that pulls everything downward. Imagine the station moving sideways so quickly that as it falls, Earth curves away beneath its sideways motion. This continuous slipping past the horizon creates the sensation of floating. Everything is in motion, everything is in harmony, everything is in an endless state of falling and missing. Let your awareness drift to the moon. It too is falling every second. It falls toward Earth, but its sideways motion carries it forward so perfectly that it circles us endlessly, like a dancer caught in a graceful spin. For billions of years, it has followed Earth's curve, falling without ever touching, and someday far into the future, it will drift straighter away as Earth's rotation slows. Yet even then, it will continue its quiet fall. The solar system is a great cascade of falling objects. Planets fall around the sun, moons fall around planets, asteroids fall through their own ancient path. Even the sun itself falls gently as it orbits the center of our galaxy. The universe is not still, it is a perpetual, weightless symphony. Let your breath drift like a slow tide. Imagine yourself floating through that cosmic orchestra. Now think of this truth in your daily life on Earth. The feeling of weight you experience, the solid pressure beneath your feet, is not gravity pulling you down, but the earth pushing you upward. The ground stops your natural motion, prevents you from falling, and creates the sensation of weight. Remove the ground, and you return to your natural state, falling freely, weightless. This is why astronauts look serene. Their bodies are allowed to move the way the universe intended, following the pure curves of space-time without interruption. They team part of the cosmic choreography instead of standing outside it. Let a slow, tranquil breath fill your chest. Let your mind float freely. Now imagine drifting to the cupola, the windowed dome of the space station. Beneath you, Earth turns silent. You press your hand to the glass, feeling the thin barrier that separates you from the vacuum. The warmth of your palm fogs the window for a moment before fading. Far below, lightning flashes across a storm system, illuminating clouds like glowing ink swirling through deep water. The auroras shimmer in greens and reds, dancing across the polar sky. Sunlight breaks over the horizon in a razor-thin line that grows into a soft golden flood. You are falling through beauty, falling through silence, falling through wonder, and in that fall, take a final slow breath for this chapter. Feel yourself drifting, weightless, grounded not by force but by the quiet embrace of motion. And as this chapter comes to rest, know that the universe is not holding you down. It is inviting you to fall, gracefully, endlessly, into its gentle curves. When you're ready, we will drift into the next chapter, where the vacuum itself begins to reveal its subtle hidden presence. The silence between atoms. Let yourselves slip gently back into the stillness. Rest your shoulders, slow your breath, and imagine the cosmos once again as a vast velvety expanse, a quiet sea without wind, without waves, without even the whisper of air. Tonight, we drift deeper into the heart of the vacuum, the space between things, the place where matter thins and dissolves into near nothingness, a realm that seems empty, but is anything but silent. Take a soft breath. Feel the calm opening around you like a great dark flower. In the vacuum, there is no air to carry sound. If you called out, your voice would fall silent the moment it left your lips, dissolved instantly into the emptiness. There is no breeze to brush your skin, no scent, no pressure, no warmth shared through air. Every sensation feels gentle, muted, controlled only by the touch of your own breath inside your suit. But this silence, This deep and absolute quiet has a beauty of its own. In the vacuum of space, everything feels purer. Motion becomes smooth, unbroken by resistance. Light travels unburdened. Even time feels different. Not faster or slower, but wider, as if every second has room to stretch. Now imagine yourself floating here, suspended in this vast hush. The stars do not twinkle, they shine with steady, unwavering light. Your body does not fall, it drifts. Your thoughts, once tangled, begin to unravel like soft ribbon. This is the vacuum, but it is not empty. Let your breath settle as we step gently into its hidden world. Though it feels like nothingness, the vacuum of space is alive with invisible activity. At the smallest scales, far beyond what the eye can see, even far below what most instruments can measure, the vacuum teems with movement. Tiny ghost-like particles appear for the briefest whisper of time and then vanish again. Scientists call them virtual particles, fleeting sparks in the dark, born from the restless energy that permeates all of space-time. Even nothingness is something. Let that thought drift through you like a cool breeze. Now imagine these ghost particles flickering around you, not in a visible way, but as a subtle hum beneath reality, like the faint vibration of a string tuned almost perfectly. They pop in and out of existence, shaping the behavior of atoms, balancing forces, even influencing the expansion of the universe itself. The vacuum is not dead, it is the quiet background breath of the cosmos. Take a slow inhale. Let your chest rise as gently as a drifting planet. In this imagined vacuum, you begin to understand the nature of floating. Without air, there is nothing to push against. Without weight, your limbs feel like they belong to a dream. Movement becomes slow, intentional. If you push off a wall with your fingertip, you glide silently across the space, your body continuing until something stops it. This is motion in pure form, uninterrupted, peaceful, serene. The vacuum grants a kind of grace, a kind of purity to movement and thought. Now imagine an object near you, perhaps a small sphere, floating freely. If you reach out and touch it lightly, it will drift away in a slow, straight line. No resistance, no friction, just the gentle momentum of your gesture carrying it on its journey. In that moment, you see the universe's intentions laid bare. Motion continues until something intervenes. Stillness remains until something moves it. Everything follows the simplest path available. The vacuum is the canvas upon which these truths are written. Let your breath deepen. Feel a soft, quiet bloom inside you. Scientists once imagined the vacuum as a perfect void, but modern understanding paints a far richer picture. The vacuum hums with quantum fields, vast invisible oceans that ripple and sway even when no particles are present. Every electron, every quark, every photon emerges from these fields, like waves rising briefly before falling back into stillness. You too are born from these fields, and you exist because the vacuum allows the dance of energy and matter to unfold. Now imagine drifting downward, as if sinking slowly into the vacuum's layers, though in truth there are no layers, only deeper understanding. The space between atoms in your body is vast compared to the atoms themselves. You are made mostly of empty space, yet the forces and fields within you create structure, shape, sensation. The vacuum is inside you, just as it surrounds you. Pause for a soft breath. Let that truth settle gently. You carry the silence of the universe within you. Now picture a beam of sunlight passing through the vacuum. It travels flawlessly, unscattered, untouched, its photons moving in perfect lines. Light doesn't need air. It doesn't slow down or grow tired. It crosses the cosmos, carrying stories from stars born before Earth existed. When you float in the vacuum, you float in this immaculate clarity. Light reaching your eyes is ancient. Shadows are sharp. Colors are pure. And in that perfect stillness, you feel something profound. A sense of being part of a universe that is simple, yet infinite, silent yet vibrant, empty yet alive. The vacuum is not nothingness. It is the stage upon which everything exists. Let your breath fall into a slow rhythm. Feel calm settling around your imagination like a soft blanket. And now picture yourself drifting through this silence, weightless and serene. The vacuum does not hold you, but neither does it push you away. It is the gentle space in which gravity shapes your path, in which motion expresses itself, in which every star's light finds its way to you. This is the universe's quiet room, its sanctuary, its cradle of stillness. As this chapter draws to a calm close, allow yourself one last deep, unhurried breath. Feel the spaciousness within you. Feel the silence around you. Feel how the vacuum, far from being empty, is full of possibility. When you're ready, we'll glide forward into the next chapter, where the boundaries between nothingness and everything begin to blur, even more beautifully. There is a quiet moment just before dawn when the world feels both impossibly still and gently in motion, a moment where the sky is neither dark nor fully bright, and everything seems to float between two states of being. Tonight, as you rest with me in this soft space of relaxing science and mindful exploration, I want to invite you into that same delicate balance, the balance that space itself holds, where everything drifts, yet everything is guided, where even the quietest particle obeys a cosmic rhythm so ancient, so elegant, it feels like a lullaby written by the universe. Take a slow breath, letting your chest rise like a moon lifting over a horizon, and imagine yourself drifting once again in that peaceful chamber of orbiting starlight. Around you, the vacuum hums with a silent melody. Nothing vibrates, nothing presses, yet everything is connected through invisible threads. Somewhere in this stillness, gravity whispers its secret. Tonight, we drift deeper into one of its most mesmerizing stories, how gravity creates boundaries, how it holds worlds together, how it shapes the very possibilities of life, yet still allows the freedom of floating. It is a dance of containment and release, of anchoring and letting go, a dance we rarely notice on Earth because we are wrapped so securely in gravity's gentle arms. But out here, in this imagined expanse, you can finally see the choreography unfold. Let your mind wander. Lightly, imagine you are standing, or rather hovering, at the edge of Earth's gravitational influence. It's not a solid edge, like the rim of a bowl or the lip of a canyon. It is more like the subtle fade of a candle's glow, becoming dimmer and dimmer until it dissolves into the dark. This boundary, known to astronomers as the Hill sphere, is the region where Earth's gravity still holds sway over objects, guiding them, keeping them close, shaping their paths. Within this sphere, moons can orbit, satellites can drift gracefully, spacecraft can circle in long looping arcs. But beyond it, the sun's gravity takes precedence. The rules shift. The dance changes partners. Even here, gravity is not a force that pulls with brute strength. Rather, it is a conversation, a negotiation. Earth whispers to its moon, "Stay near." The sun calls to Earth, "Move with me." And deeper still, the galaxy murmurs to the sun, guiding it through the great spiral arms of starlight. Everything in motion is being spoken to, gently. Imagine floating at that gravitational boundary, feeling neither pulled inward nor outward, as though suspended in a cosmic pause. It is a place of balance, a place that exists because the universe, in its infinite complexity, still makes room for harmony. If you drift a little closer toward Earth, its presence grows stronger. You begin to fall inward, not with fear, but with a sensation like drifting downstream on a calm river. If you drift outward, just slightly, the sun claims your movement, drawing you into a wider orbit, a longer path, a larger story. Gravity is always telling you a direction, always offering a path, but never forcing a destination. This is one of the most beautiful truths of mindful science. Gravity doesn't push or pull with hands or wind. It simply shapes the fabric beneath your feet or beneath your drifting form. Space curves, and you follow the curve like a leaf on a gentle current. You move where the river bends. Take another breath, feeling the quiet weight of that idea. Gravity isn't a force acting upon you, it's the shape of the story you're traveling through. Now imagine planets forming long ago in a cloud of dust and gas, tiny grains of matter drifting in a newborn star's glow. They collide softly, joining together, growing into pebbles, then stones, then mountains, then worlds. All of this guided by gravity, which tells them come together, be something more, find shape, find meaning. Gravity is the sculptor of the cosmos. It is why planets are round, why stars ignite, why galaxies swirl in elegant spirals. It is why you stay rooted to the earth, and why astronauts float so serenely in their space stations. It is the keeper of order in a world of endless emptiness. And yet, for all its structure, gravity still allows these moments of freedom, these pockets of weightlessness where you can drift, dream, and observe, where your body, unrestricted, becomes an explorer of equilibrium. Picture yourself now, drifting slowly around the earth, seeing continents slip beneath you like soft brushstrokes on a watercolor canvas. Clouds swirl in delicate spirals, oceans gleam like polished glass, lightning flickers far below, silent from your lofty view. You are neither falling nor rising. You are simply moving with the curve of space in perfect harmony. This is the phenomenon astronauts describe so often, the feeling of being in a cradle made of motion, falling forever, but never hitting the ground, being held by gravity, yet freed from its familiar weight. What does it teach us? Perhaps that freedom and attachment are not opposites, that you can be connected to something like Earth, like the sun, like the galaxy, while still moving lightly, gently, without resist. Perhaps it teaches us the value of letting things flow along their natural curves, without trying to force the direction. Perhaps it shows us that even in the vast quiet of the vacuum, every motion, every drift, every orbit has meaning. Now let's drift a little farther. Imagine crossing into the gravitational influence of another world. Maybe the moon, with its pale and ancient surface. Maybe Mars, glowing soft and red against the night. Maybe Jupiter, vast and swirling like a dream, made of storms. Each world has its own boundary, its own pull, its own presence. Gravity then is like the personality of a planet, its quiet voice, its gentle invitation. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine those gravitational fields as soft gradients of color, blending from one world to another, weaving through space like drifting ribbon. You move through them effortlessly, sensing their subtle changes, understanding them without words. This is relaxing science, not just knowledge but sensation, not just explanation, but experience. As you breathe in, Imagine drifting toward a gravitational well, feeling its soft guidance as you breathe out. Imagine floating outward again, expanding into the openness of the cosmic sea. The universe is not empty. It is shaped by these invisible contours, guiding every star, every comet, every drifting traveler, including you. And in this quiet moment, you are part of that same graceful structure. Let the thoughts settle in your mind like stardust. At the end of this chapter, take a final slow breath and feel your awareness resting gently in the balance between pull and freedom, attachment and drifting, gravity and weightlessness. And when you're ready, drift with me into the next chapter, where we will explore how gravity choreographs entire celestial families, binding them into systems, stories, and cosmic symphonies that echo across the endless dark. There is a gentle hush that falls across the universe when we begin to speak about families of celestial bodies, planets, moons, asteroids, and stars moving together in long, patient rhythms. A hush like walking into an ancient library where every book is a world and every shelf is an orbit. Tonight, as we continue our drifting journey through this realm of relaxing science, let us float deeper into the idea of cosmic harmony, guided by gravity's quiet and unwavering hand. Take a slow breath, letting it expand through your chest like starlight blooming in the darkness. As you exhale, imagine yourself gliding weightlessly into a dark, open expanse ahead of you. Small sparks begin to glow, not stars yet. No, these are the faint, shimmering trails of objects circling a distant sun, a planetary system, a family bound not by touch, not by ropes or chains, but by the invisible, patient embrace of gravity. Picture a newborn star, still wrapped in its swirling cradle of dust and gas. Around it, fragments of matter glide like drifting snowflakes, slowly, through gentle collisions and soft gravitational nudges. They begin to organize themselves, not in a chaotic storm, but in circles, rings, patterns that feel almost musical. This is the universe composing its first symphony. The star plays the low, steady note of its gravitational presence. The planets respond with higher tones, moving in precise tempos. Moons add delicate harmonies, weaving between them like whispered melody. Even the asteroids and comets contribute faint percussion, tapping their icy beats at the edges of the system. Gravity is the conductor, lifting its unseen baton. Let your breath fall into that rhythm, slow, even, circular. Inhale with the inward arc of an orbit. Exhale with the outward drift. You are part of the pattern now, drifting among worlds that move so gracefully you could almost believe they are dancing. Imagine the Earth in this cosmic ensemble. Imagine how it circles the sun, not in a perfect loop, but in a gentle ellipse, stretching slightly closer and slightly farther away with each cycle. Imagine the moon weaving its own orbit around Earth, creating a smaller melody inside a larger one. Imagine the pull of Jupiter, vast and calm, influencing Earth's path without touching it. Even tiny Pluto, distant and cold, contributes its own faint ripple. Every world is aware of every other. Gravity creates relationships, not direct connections, like a hand holding another, but a quiet awareness, a respectful distance, a shared movement. You can drift here in this imagined system and feel that quiet interconnection wash over you. Let your mind wander now toward the idea of orbital resonances, those beautiful moments when the rhythms of planets align. Picture two worlds drifting around their star, one making two orbits in the same time, another makes three. Their paths sync, their motions reinforce one another. They share a subtle cosmic heartbeat. Jupiter's moons do this. Io, Europa, and Ganymede, locked in a dance that has continued for billions of years. Each moon tugs on the next, shaping their movements, stirring their internal worlds. Io becomes volcanic, Europa gains oceans beneath its icy shell. Ganymede holds magnetic secrets deep inside. From simple gravitational timing, entire worlds find identity. As you drift through this possibility, imagine what it would be like if humans could fall into such resonances, not with orbits, but with one another. Moments where two people share a rhythm, moving effortlessly, understanding each other without needing to speak. Gravity is not the only force that creates harmony. Take a slow breath and feel the soft vibration of that thought. Now picture asteroid families, clusters of rock that once belonged to a larger body, now broken apart yet still moving together, keeping a shared memory of their past. They drift like a tribe through the dark, each one distinct but bound by a shared origin. Or consider Saturn's rings, countless particles, each one tiny, moving so beautifully in unison that from a distance they appear as smooth, luminous bands. Every piece follows gravity's instruction. Every fragment contributes to the whole, a masterpiece created from dust. The more you float among these scenes, the more you begin to realize nothing in the universe is truly alone. Gravity connects everything, however faintly. Even stars, separated by light years, feel each other's presence. Even galaxies dance together, merging slowly over cosmic lifetimes. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine two massive galaxies spiraling toward one another, their stars avoiding collision through vast emptiness, yet their shapes blending, warping, a gravitational waltz lasting billions of years. A love story told in slow motion. Let your breath follow the curves of that dance. As you drift deeper into this vision, the vacuum around you no longer feels empty. It feels full, full of motion, connection, full of stories written in the arcs and curves of countless orbits. You can almost hear it now, the soft cosmic music of gravitational families, a deeper understanding forming inside you. Gravity is not simply a force, nor merely the shape of space. It is the architecture of belonging in the universe. Inhale slowly, letting that idea settle in. Exhale gently, feeling yourself become part of the harmony. At the close of this chapter, rest for a moment in the peaceful realization that every object you've imagined, every planet, moon, and drifting grain of dust is moving with purpose, guided not by chaos but by connection. When you're ready, drift with me into the next chapter, where we explore the delicate tension between order and unpredictability, and how even in the tranquil poetry of gravity, the universe still leaves room for surprise. There is a serene beauty and order in the way planets trace their graceful paths around their star, in the way moons whisper around their planets, and in the slow spiraling of galaxies that drift like ancient tapestries across the night. But beneath that calm surface, the universe also holds another truth, one that is subtle, surprising, and endlessly captivating. A truth that reminds us that even in the vastness of predictable patterns, there is room for the unexpected. Tonight, let us drift gently into that delicate tension between cosmic order and cosmic unpredictability. Let us explore how the universe manages to be both steady and surprising, reliable and yet full of mystery. Take a slow breath with me, letting your chest lift as though you are rising through a soft current of starlight, and exhale as though releasing yourself into the open, weightless sea of space. As you float in this mindful moment of relaxing science, imagine yourself hovering just outside a solar system, not ours, but one far away, where the rules of motion play out in unfamiliar ways. From a distance, the system appears peaceful, its planets moving in smooth ellipses like dancers repeating ancient steps. But as you drift closer, you sense tiny variations. A planet wobbling slightly as it orbits, a moon spiraling outward at a slow but steady pace, a comet suddenly altering its path as if responding to an invisible call. The universe is orderly, yes, but never rigid. Let your breath fall into that thought. Slow, steady, soft. With each inhale, picture the gentle curve of an orbit. With each exhale, imagine the slight deviation that makes the path unique. Gravity, for all its guiding presence, also allows room for chaos, but not the frightening kind. This is the chaos of creativity, of change, of evolution. It is the difference between a simple pattern and a living story. Imagine now a three-body system, three worlds orbiting each other or a shared center. Gravity becomes a conversation more complicated than before. Not two voices, but three. Not a single path, but many possible outcomes. A tiny variation in the starting point. A slight nudge, a small shift, a gentle tap can lead to a completely different dance millions of years later. This is the butterfly effect on a cosmic scale. Picture it: three stars, like glowing lanterns, drifting in a triangle, so delicate that even a small change in one star's motion could reshape the whole rhythm. Sometimes they move in harmony for ages. Sometimes a star may drift away, gently exiled, becoming a wanderer. Sometimes a world may be captured by a different star, changing its identity forever. The universe allows these possibilities. It embraces them. Take a slow breath and imagine you are watching one such system unfold. Three glowing suns, a few planets weaving around them, gravity stretching, pulling, guiding, and yet leaving room for surprise. This is not chaos meant to unsettle, but chaos that adds texture to the cosmic tapestry. Now drift with me to the early days of our own solar system, a time when massive planets shifted positions like slow-moving giants. Jupiter and Saturn, in particular, may have once danced closer together. Their combined gravity stirred the disk of gas and dust, scattering comets outward, pulling some inward, shaping the very architecture of our home. Some scientists believe these movements even helped create the conditions for life on Earth. What seems unpredictable often becomes the seed of possibility. Imagine drifting back in time, watching Jupiter slowly migrate through the protoplanetary disk. It does not move with reckless speed. It glides like a whale through a calm ocean, its gravitational wake reshaping everything behind it. Moons form, moons are captured, moons are lost. Asteroids scatter like sparks from a quiet fire. Inhale slowly as you picture those rearrangements. Exhale as you feel the gentle acceptance of cosmic change. Chaos is not the universe's enemy, it is part of its creativity. Now let yourself float to the boundary between order and unpredictability, the Kuiper Belt, a region filled with icy relics, each one moving according to gravity's rules, yet each one capable of being nudged, ever so slightly, into a new trajectory. Some objects stay in stable orbits for billions of years. Others are flung inward, becoming comets that streak toward the inner solar system like messengers of ancient history. Imagine watching one such icy traveler. For millions of years it has drifted quietly in the cold outskirts. Then a gentle tug from Neptune or from a passing star changes its path. The icy traveler begins a long, slow fall toward the sun, tracing a luminous arc across millions of kilometers of empty space, its destiny changed by the smallest whisper of gravity. And yet, every step of its journey is beautiful. As you drift deeper into this meditation, allow yourself to sense the quiet wisdom in this mix, of order and unpredictability. The universe is not mechanical, it is not rigid, it breathes, it shifts, it adapts, it surprises, and in doing so, it becomes not a machine, but a living, evolving story. Feel that truth settle gently in your chest. Perhaps every moment of your life is also shaped by predictable rhythms, sunrise, heartbeat, breath, and yet also touched by the unexpected. Small events that change direction, tiny choices that alter your path, gentle surprises that lead to new chapters. Gravity allows flexibility even in the grandest scale. So can we. Now imagine floating farther out, past the solar systems, past the stars, into the quiet dark between galaxies. The cosmic web stretches before you, filaments of matter threading across unimaginable distances. They look solid, like veins of glowing gold. But even here there is movement. Galaxies drift along these filaments. Some collide, some merge, some pass each other like ships in a silent night. Each encounter reshapes them, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. The universe is always becoming something new. Take one more slow breath in this moment. Float in the awareness that order and chaos are not opposites. They are partners. They shape one another. They create beauty in balance. Gravity offers stability, but also allows just enough deviation to let the cosmos evolve, grow, and surprise itself. As you rest at the end of this chapter, hold gently the idea that your journey too is a mix of predictable rhythm and unexpected wonder. The universe does not fear the unknown, it embraces it. And when you're ready, drift with me into the next chapter, where we will explore how even in the silent vacuum, the universe remains filled with connection, signals, and conversations carried across the stars. There is a moment when you drift in the quiet sea of space where silence becomes so complete that it feels like a presence, a companion, a soft, infinite stillness that wraps around you like a weightless blanket. Yet, if you listen closely, very closely, you begin to sense that this silence is not empty at all. It is alive with hidden conversations, subtle messages, and gentle murmurs that travel across the darkness, weaving stars into a connected whole. Tonight, let us drift into that quiet communication. Let us float deeper into the notion that even in the vacuum where sound cannot travel, where air does not exist, the universe still speaks, not in vibrations of air, not in the familiar warmth of human voices, but in something older, softer, and endlessly patient: light, gravity, magnetism, particles, signals carried across trillions of miles. Take a slow breath. Inhale gently as though drawing in the faint glow of a distant nebula. Hold the breath lightly for a moment, floating between inhale and exhale. Then release it with the ease of stardust drifting from your fingertips. You are entering a chapter of quiet connections, where the language of the universe becomes clear through calm attention. Imagine yourself drifting far from any planet, suspended in a tranquil stretch of vacuum. No air presses against your skin, no wind passes by, no sound rip. Yet around you, invisible waves are passing every second. Rays of energy from distant stars, pulses from spinning neutron stars, soft whispers of gravitational waves rippling through the fabric of space from events that happened millions of years ago. The universe never stops sending signals. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine these signals as faint lights gliding past you, each one carrying a story. Some stories begin in the heart of stars, where atomic reactions release photons gentle particles of light that travel outward for thousands of years until they touch your imagination. Others begin in the violent collapse of giant suns, releasing streams of neutrinos that pass through everything, your body, the earth, even solid metal without slowing down. They are the travelers of the cosmos, moving unhindered, unbothered, unstoppable. The vacuum is not dead space, it is a river of information. Now imagine drifting near a pulsar, a dense, fast spinning remnant of a star, so compact that a teaspoon of its material weighs as much as a mountain. And yet, from this unimaginable object, perfect pulses of radio waves beam outward into space like the ticking of a celestial clock. Some pulse every second, some hundreds of times per second. They mark time across galaxies. Imagine floating in their path, feeling the gentle, rhythmic flicker of their electromagnetic heartbeat. You are not hearing sound. You are sensing light, light stretched into wavelengths so long that if translated they would feel like calm, deep notes. Take a slow breath, let it sync with that imagined rhythm. Inhale, pulse. Exhale, pulse. This is the universe speaking through structure, through timing, through waves that never lose their discipline. Now drift with me farther still into a region where galaxies shine like soft lanterns. Each galaxy emits its own glow, not just in visible light, but in radio waves, infrared warmth, ultraviolet whispers, X-ray flares. If your eyes could see all wavelengths at once, the universe would shimmer with colors beyond imagination, each frequency a message from a different cosmic event. Every star, every planet, every drifting cloud of gas is communicating its existence, not loudly, not urgently, but with quiet consistency. And gravity, too, carries messages. Imagine now that you are a ripple in the very fabric of space, not a solid object, but a wave passing through the universe. You are a gravitational wave, born from the collision of two massive black holes spiraling into one another. For billions of years they circled, drawing closer, dancing the most extreme gravitational waltz. Then, in an instant, they merged, releasing a ripple that expanded outward like the spreading rings on a still pond. You are that ripple passing silently through space, through galaxies, through stars, through the vacuum, imperceptibly, stretching and squeezing everything in your path. You pass by Earth, you pass through it. No resistance, no sound, no light, just a subtle shift, a quiet message from an event unimaginably far away. Even silence has memory. Now gently bring your awareness back to yourself, hovering in the vacuum. Around you, streams of particles glide, photons, neutrinos, electrons, bits of cosmic dust. Each carries clues about where it came from. The color of a photon tells you the temperature of the star that birthed it. The speed of a neutrino tells you about the violence of the supernova that released it. The composition of drifting dust carries the chemistry of ancient stellar furnaces. The vacuum is a library of cosmic messages. Take a slow breath as you imagine yourself reading these messages without words, without letters, just through presence, through calm, attentive drifting. Now imagine spacecraft listening to these cosmic communications. Think of Voyager, wandering far beyond our solar system, sending home faint whispers of data that take more than half a day to reach Earth. Imagine the golden record it carries, humanity's own message to the stars floating through the quiet, waiting for any listening ear. Or think of the quiet hum of the cosmic microwave background, the oldest message of all, a faint glow left over from the birth of the universe. It fills the entire sky, Even in the deepest void, it wraps around you like a soft ancient echo. You float in that glow now. Every direction you turn, every place you drift, you feel the faint warmth of that primordial light older than galaxies, older than stars. It is the universe remembering its own beginning. So much communication, all carried by the vacuum, the medium most people imagine as empty. Take a moment to simply breathe and feel yourself held in this web of invisible messages. You are floating in the universe's long distance conversation, a symphony of signals crossing unimaginable distances. Even the quiet is full of meaning. And now, gently, let me take you to the edge of the visible universe, a place where the oldest light has stretched so far, so thin, that it becomes a wisp. Beyond that edge lies what we cannot see, what we cannot yet measure, regions where light has not had time to reach us since the beginning of everything. Even there, connection persists. Gravity binds regions we have never observed. Space itself expands, carrying galaxies with it like seeds drifting on a cosmic breeze. And in that expansion, new questions form. Questions the universe has also whispered to us. What lies beyond? How far does the cosmos stretch? What messages have not yet arrived? Let your breath drift softly through those questions without needing answers. Inhale, possibility. Exhale, wonder. Even uncertainty is part of the universe's conversation. And now, as this chapter draws to a calm close, rest in the quiet knowledge that you are part of this web of cosmic communication. You too emit light. Your body radiates warmth. You too feel gravity's pull. You too are shaped by waves and particles and the gentle motion of earth beneath you. You are not separate from the universe. You are a sender, a receiver, a participant in its quiet unfolding dialogue. When you're ready, drift with me into the next chapter, the final chapter, where we will bring together everything we've explored: floating, gravity, silence, connection, and the peaceful truth about our place in the cosmos. There is a soft, lingering stillness that settles in when a long journey reaches its final chapter. Not an ending, really, but a gentle fading of light, like the last glow of twilight resting on a quiet horizon. Tonight, as we close our drifting exploration through the cosmos, let us slow our breathing, soften our thoughts, and allow this final chapter to become a place of reflection, a place where everything we've seen and felt gathers into a single calming truth. Take a slow, deep breath with me now, inhaling like you're drawing in starlight, and exhaling as though releasing yourself into the peaceful, infinite dark. Feel your body settle. Feel your mind expand. Feel your spirit drift lightly, weightlessly. You and I have traveled far together. We began by floating in a vacuum, discovering that weightlessness is not the absence of gravity, but the embrace of motion. We drifted through orbits and gravitational boundaries, exploring how planets, moons, and stars move in calm, eternal dances. We listened to the quiet rhythms of cosmic families, where worlds resonate with one another like notes in a celestial symphony. We wandered into the edge between order and unpredictability, where the universe reveals that even in its most peaceful patterns, there is room for surprise and creativity. And we entered the silent vacuum itself, learning that silence does not mean emptiness, but connection, a soft chorus of light, waves and whispers crossing ancient distances. Now here we are drifting slowly back toward the center of ourselves. Imagine for a moment that you are looking at the entire universe from above, not physically above, but from a quiet inner vantage point. Galaxies swirl like glowing spirals of paint. Stars pulse like tiny lanterns scattered across a tranquil pond. Nebulae stretch like drifting clouds of color. Every piece of the cosmos moves gently, patiently, gracefully. Everything is connected by the invisible threads of gravity, woven through space like the soft fabric of a dream. And somewhere in that endless night sky is you, a single point of awareness, a tiny spark of consciousness, yet utterly, beautifully part of it all. Take another breath, slowly, fully, deeply. As you exhale, imagine releasing any tension you've been holding, like a satellite shedding the last bits of drag before entering perfect orbit. Feel yourself become lighter, soft, more aligned with the natural rhythm of the universe. What space teaches us about gravity is not merely a scientific truth, but a deeply human one. Gravity shows us that everything has a place, a path, a connection, that even when we feel like we're floating alone, we are still held by unseen forces, that we are part of something larger, something ancient, something breathtakingly beautiful. Weightlessness reminds us that freedom doesn't mean isolation. It means moving harmoniously with the world around us. The cosmic web reminds us that silence is full of meaning if we only choose to listen. Orbital motion reminds us that life is not a straight line, but a gentle curve shaped by the influences we encounter. And the universe itself reminds us that even in the vast dark, we are never truly alone. Let that truth settle over you now, like soft dust in a beam of moonlight. Imagine yourself drifting slowly back toward your own orbit, your room, your breath, your resting body. But carry the stillness of space with you. Carry the quiet strength of gravity. Carry the sense that you belong to something larger, something harmonious, something peaceful. You have traveled across galaxies tonight. You have floated through silence. You have listened to the whispered messages of stars. And now, as you slowly return, you bring back a piece of the cosmos within you, a calm centeredness, a weightless serenity. Take one last slow breath with me. Inhale the wonder of the universe. Exhale the calm it leaves behind. And as your awareness settles gently into this moment, let me say thank you for drifting with me, for listening, for dreaming across the stars together. Your presence here has been part of the quiet harmony we explored. If you're ready for rest, let the peaceful darkness cradle you. If you're staying awake, let the calm linger around you like a soft halo. Wherever you go next, remember you are part of the universe. You are part of its rhythm. You are part of its endless, gentle story. Good night, my friend, and until next time, this is Sleepy Scientist Zone, drifting off among the stars.